Hey guys, it's Kirby the Bookish Nurse and welcome back to my channel. Today the video I wanted to bring you guys is the MidYear book Freakout tag. I'm not sure how old this tag is or who created it first, but I'm going to look back and see if I can find the original creator, and if I can, I will tag them in the description box below. But I think it's 14 questions, 12 or 14 questions. And I know I've heard everybody who's done this tag say it, but I just have to reiterate, it's almost July. Did y'all know that? The year is almost gone. And I feel like 2020, my mind has just blocked that out completely. So here we are, almost in 2022. And I feel like the other day was 2019. So I'll be 65 in next week. That's okay. All right. So the first question in this tag is, what was the best book you read in 2021? And I have diversified my genres so much this year that it's hard to pick just one. Normally it would be like, would you like to pick the quest fantasy, or would you like the romantic fantasy or the horror fantasy? And this year it's like, do you want to pick the fantasy or the romance or the historical fiction or the memoir or the contemporary or this other one that I have no idea what genre? I think it's actually called the weird genre. And it's such a hard decision, but I think that I've narrowed it down to 2 choices. Or 3. Oh, there's that other one too. I don't know. I started reading more adult fantasy this year, which introduced me to Brandon Sanderson. Thank you to all of you YouTubers who are booktubers who made me feel like I needed to read him, because I'll never be the same. But I started my Sanderson journey with Mistborn, The Final Empire, and it did not disappoint. It was so wonderful. I loved Mistborn. I think I've already told y'all about it. Basic premise is, a couple hundred years ago, the bad guy faced off with the chosen one. Chosen one lost. Now the bad guy reigns. There's ash falling from the sky. The world is terrible. There's people starving and dying in the streets. And there's slaves and this and this and this. Our main character, Vin, finds out that she is Mistborn. There's a huge plot to overthrow the empire and get treasure that I'm not going to talk about. The story continues from there. It is so beautifully written by the end of the series. By the conclusion of the trilogy, I was still seeing, like in the last 3 chapters, I was still seeing lines that started in book 1. So he has been planning this so strategically from book 1, Sanderson, that it's still coming together in the end of the trilogy. If you're looking for a romance though, that's not the one. I don't suggest Sanderson's romances. Ellen was boring. Sorry, I know there's a lot of people that love him. I just ain't one of them. And then also The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. This book is a memoir. There's also a movie that I have not seen yet that I'm going to watch one day. It stars Woody Harrelson, I think. I'm not sure who else is in it, but I love Woody Harrelson. Ever since The Hunger Games, and White Men Can't Jump, and everything else Kingpin that he's ever been in, I love Woody Harrelson, and I think that he would play the part of the dad in that story so well. But it's a memoir of a girl who was raised with really nothing, and it's the story of her coming out of poverty and ending up in success. But also by the end of the story, she did such a good job characterizing her parents that I feel like, I mean, I don't know her, so I could be completely wrong about this, but I feel like she made me feel the way she felt about her parents. Because it was like, were they great parents? No. Did I want them to be my parents? Absolutely not. But do I still love them? Yeah. Yeah, I did. Because they're just free-spirited, and they just want to live for the sake of living. They want to enjoy their life. They don't want to be part of the rat race. They're not. They refuse. They're not going to be. It it was very touching, and I loved it. The best sequel that I read, no surprise here, The Hero of Ages, is the conclusion to the Mistborn Era 1 trilogy. Number 3 is what is a new release that you have not read yet? I bought this book. I pre-ordered this book. I was so excited. I waited all year. I reread the entire series, including the novellas, and I waited and waited, and it finally came in, and I looked at it, and I adored it, and I wanted to read it so bad, and I still have not picked it up yet. A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. And this book actually follows one of my very favorite characters, Nesta and Cassian. I know Nesta gets a lot of hate. I don't care. I'm not here for that. I love Nesta. I understand her, and I love her. One day, I'm going to do a whole Nesta video, probably after I read this book and get more in her head. But why have I not read this? I don't know. Because I'm unorganized and ADD with books, and I can't get myself together long enough to read it. This is the one. My most anticipated book for the second half of the year probably is going to be Pariah by Anthony Ryan. And for some ungodly reason, Orbitz decided that they were going to approve me for an arc through NetGalley of Pariah. And I'm so excited because it looks so good. I will definitely put up a review within 2 weeks of it coming out, for sure. My biggest disappointment this year, I'm sorry y'all, please don't come for me, but my biggest disappointment was probably Lore by Alexandra Bracken. I typically love Greek mythology, any type of mythology. I love those old stories, and I love to go in depth and see new twists on these stories. However, the world building in this book wasn't great. I never fully understood what was going on, what was the underlying why is there a rebellion? Why are they being punished for it? Zeus just don't like them? Oh, okay. Like, no, none for me. I'm good, thanks. It was a beautiful cover. Here, let me show you. I have the Alcrate edition, and it's a beautiful cover. And I also usually really like Medusa because her story is tragic and interesting, but it fell flat for me. My biggest surprise, I really had two biggest surprises, mainly because I've only ever read fantasy, really, and I'm always saying, I don't really like romance. No thanks. But that's because if a fantasy book is built up well enough, I don't need romance. I don't need that drama to make it better because the story itself is already phenomenal. However, in February, I decided to read several romance books, and I got one of my very favorite new books, which is the Bromance Bookclub. I've talked about it before. It's about a married couple who are going through divorce, and they get a second chance romance arc. He gets with his guy friends, and they tell him about the book club that they have where they read romance novels in order to better their relationships. And they grow together, they fall back in love, and it's my favorite. The second book that was a huge surprise for me was a man named Uva. A Man Called Uva by Frederick Bachmann. In this book, not a lot happens. It's just kind of a slice of life with a super grumpy old man who, a family of foreign people move in next door to him, and he is himself. He's super grumpy, and he pushes them, and they push back, and they're just trying to love him, and he just wants to be grumpy with his grumpy cat, and he hates the cat, and then it turns into something. And then he's like, "Move! You don't know how to do it. Let me just show you how to do it." People nowadays don't know how to do nothing for themselves. Can't drive by themselves. Can't do nothing. Computers? What do you mean computers? You don't need a computer for this. And he is so funny, and I laughed and cried through the whole book. The romance that's in that book, I have honestly never seen romance like that in a book. And just the way that Uva talks about his wife is like, I cried every time he talked about his wife. I just cried, just sat there and cried. And my husband was like, "Why are you crying?" And I was like, "No reason, no reason. It's nothing. You don't know him. You don't know him. It's fine. I'll be fine." Number 7 is your favorite new authors. My favorite new authors are going to be Brandon Sanderson and Frederick Bachmann. They also held the biggest surprise of the year. Who would have thunk it? Number 8 is newest fictional crush, but I don't really have a new fictional crush. I have old fictional crushes, kind of. Cassian from the book that I haven't read yet. I am head over heels behind Cassian. Other than that, Gavin Scott from the Bromance Bookclub seemed like a really good dude. I don't know. I don't really have any new fictional crushes, I guess. Kelsier maybe, but not really. He was kind of, I don't know. Kelsier felt kind of like a dude bro. Like, probably. Would I succumb to his charisma? Probably, yeah. I say yes. But if I actually say, do I like Kelsier? I don't know. Maybe. Not really. My favorite character from this year. I really should have read these previously and thought them through. Probably Nesta. I love Nesta, but she's not new this year. Nesta really, I feel like, is like a mirror that I don't want to look in, but I have to. I love Nesta so much. Vin from Mistborn is a great character. Her arc is just phenomenal. Oh, I know. The kids from the House in the Cerulean Sea. Chauncey was so sweet. He's a little boy that his whole aspiration in life is to be a bellhop. How cute is that? He just wants to be a bellhop because he said he needs to help people. And he knows people are scared of him. But that's okay. He'll show them how nice he is. And he'll help them with their bags. And people need help with their bags sometimes. So cute and sweet. Actually, he's probably terrifying looking, but he's so sweet. And I kind of want to adopt him. Book that made me cry the most, A Man Called Uva. I cried probably from like chapter 5 until it ended. I just cried the whole day. Book that made me the happiest, probably The House in the Cerulean Sea. How can you not be happy reading about kids finding their place in the world and being happy and finding their family and they're just happy little 6 to 10-year-olds. How can that not make you happy? If that doesn't, you need to see somebody. If you want to see children suffer, that sounds like a you problem. The most beautiful book cover that I have gotten this year. That's hard too. Hold on just a second. So I don't have one answer for this. I have several. And there's one that's a set that I'm just not going to go get because it's all the way across the house. But I will show a picture of them. And they're much more simple than the rest of these. And that's the Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne. I love these book covers. I don't even know why. Why? They're not special. But I love them. The white with the... I love those. Moving on. Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. It's the newest Shadowhunters book. Can you even see that well? That looks... You can probably see that. I think that is so pretty. And it has like the raised thing there. This one I thought was beautiful. Also, the Gilded Ones. I haven't read it yet. But I want to so bad. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Tell me that's not beautiful. Look at those colors. Look at that face. I'm so jealous. Ugh. It's gorgeous. Whoever designed these covers needs a raise immediately. Which is steeped in gold. Tell me that is not just... Ugh. They get a raise right now. Every time I sit down, I swear to God that the video is going to be shorter than the previous video. And every time I sit down, I'm here for 6 hours. I'm so sorry. I'll learn how to wrap it up. I just run my mouth. The book that I need to read by the end of the year. This one is going to be a series, and I have been trying and trying to get to this book, and I keep getting distracted by other new books. I'm going to read the Faithful and the Fallen series that I just showed you by the end of the year. I'm at least going to read the first book. If I read the first one and I just hate it for some reason, probably not going to continue. But planning on reading the entire quartet. The last question is favorite book community members. From my inner circle would be everybody in my book club. I love everybody that's in my book club. We get along. Sam and Brittany and Trin. There have been times this year that, like, I don't know what I would have done without y'all. Y'all have, like... I don't want to get too sappy. Let me pull it back in. But y'all have been amazing. I haven't done this before, and I don't know why, but I'll also put links to the book club in the description below if anybody not from there wants to come see what we're about. But yeah, my Bookworm Alley people are probably at the moment my favorite people in my book community. As a whole, like, out of all the people on BookTube, my favorite people to watch are Elliot Brooks, Daniel Green, and Murphy Napier. And I don't know the girl's name, but her channel is This Story Ain't Over. Her energy just is so catchy, and I love it. She's so happy, and it makes me happy. I like to see other people happy. So anyway, that's my mid-year book freakout tag. I can't wait to see all of y'all's. I'm probably going to go binge these videos now just because I want to see what everybody's up to and how much they've gotten read this year and what they thought about it. But anyways, I'll see you guys again next time with another video. Bye.